Oh my. I don't know if this chapter is on par with last week's chapter, or even better than last week's chapter of Toriko. Because quite the few surprises with this week's chapter, along with an interesting cliffhanger and some berserk type shit going on. So, this chapter once again signifies the endgame, the end of the world. And for the first time, we get to see the full glimpse of the Dragon King. My first impressions of the Dragon King, his design looks a lot different than I envisioned when I first thought of the Dragon King. But when it comes down to being creepy, badass, and just like, oh my god, I can't wait to see what this Dragon King can do, like all the different feats he can do, I'm hyped up for him, because after witnessing what he looks pretty cool. The only problem I have with the introduction of the Dragon King with this chapter is we really don't know how big he is in scale, because if you go back in last week's chapter, there was a lot of good things you could actually compare the size to when it comes to the other 8 Beast Kings, and with, you know, the Dragon King that was shown in this chapter at the beginning, you really don't know the actual scale of him, because you can't really tell. It was just showed his body, but we didn't get to see, like, you know, mountains beside him and see how big he was. But I'm willing to assume he's probably fucking massive. I mean, if it, you know, previous Beast Kings let us know anything, this Beast King, the Dragon King, has to be massive in scale. I just wonder how big he is. But that's not really the point here, what I really want to focus on. What I want to focus on is that berserk art I saw. Like, I'm willing to bet anyone that's read Berserk and reads Toriko most likely thinks the exact same way. When you saw that demon that most likely is Acacia just appear, and when you see like the form, like these weird ball things forming above him, and you see this face making out, like, you know, like right above him, like you see this face coming out, that reminded me of Berserk. The entire design of that creature was just screaming Berserk at me. It's like, it's fucking Berserk. That's exactly what that design told me when I was looking at this chapter. And I'm like, oh shit, that Berserk design. It looks so cool. It really does. Like, personally, I have to say, I like that design better than the King's itself. Yeah, I like the design of, I think, Acacia. We're all assuming it's Acacia. I like the design of that creature because it looks really cool, reminds me of Berserk, and anything that reminds me of Berserk is on point. Like, holy shit. So, definitely a good part of this chapter, just to remember Berserk while reading Toriko. That is a plus in of itself, because not many series can do that, let's just face it. So, yeah, the Berserk type monster, definitely good, looking forward to more of it. And we're raised many questions in this chapter that a lot of us need to focus on. For instance, supposedly we do know in Area 1 there's cooking going on with a Nitro that are cooking the world, as we know, like they're cooking of souls and stuff. And then you also have it in Area 6 where it's mentioned, it's compared to Area 1's cooking by the Nitro. In Area 6 there's also like a similar cooking going down, and it says at the beginning of the chapter they don't really know what's causing the Kings to really move because of the threat, if it was Area 1's cooking or Area 6. But whatever it is, all the Kings are moving. They're not just going to Area 1, because even the Dragon King is on the move. So we don't really know where exactly they're going to what area, but as I said in my last chapter review, I'm going to assume that they're either A, going to be leaving the planet, because it has been hinted at, or B, that they are going to be going to where this creature is, this Berserk type creature in this chapter. One or the other is going to be going down. But regardless of where they go, the emphasis on Area 6's cooking with Area 1 is definitely something very important we need to actually remember when we continue on with the Area 6 arc, because right now, that was emphasized with the chapter, and we do know that recently, when it comes to Toriko, it's been a lot of focus on souls. Like, souls has been one of the main focuses, and so with what is going on, and, you know, what's going on with Joa, and then Midora, and then all other different characters going on with these different arcs, because if you think about it, recent arcs have been a lot of focus on souls. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense now that you think about it. Speaking of souls, we get to see, like, human beings just walking in a circle. They're just going in a circle into this big pit and all that. Very ominous. Very, very ominous. And definitely not many pages or panels of manga can really make me feel like dread or feel like it is the end. Like, that's exactly what that panel really implied to me when I was seeing just a human line whirlpool just going inside of this hole, giving up their lives. There's not many manga chapters that can do that to me, or panels in general, and to see how the panel looked with people just dying and walking into it, very creepy, and it kind of implies also that that's what's going down in Area 6. Because we do know there's the entire, you know, the soul cooking thing, like underneath where the flame fire, I forget the exact term for it, but you know, the souls that are in the fire, it's implied something like that. Now, besides that, okay, getting into other things, we come to find out, like, all the different men underneath Joa in the where they're at right now, currently going on with Midora coming in to fight, they've been crossed with animals, or different creatures, or creatures that can be revived, because you have to where Teppei is in a bind in this chapter, and when he slices at them, he can revive them, which is a very bad situation. But to see how some of these iconic characters are kind of crossed with different creatures, it's kind of unnerving, so to say, because I don't know how I feel about their designs. I don't. I really don't know how I feel about a lot of their designs, but I don't really have much of an impression yet, besides I just don't know how to feel. To see also one of them having the power to reverse time, and then fast forward time, to pausing time, to, you know, doing stuff like that. There was something that was emphasized in one of those panels with the power. According to what I saw from looking at the panel work, when the colors inverted and you saw like it goes solid black, it looked like also the abilities of the person that was manipulating time, like pausing time and stuff, it also works against him as well. For instance, when he paused time on Teppei, his ability was also paused in that given radius. So, I'm going to assume that he doesn't pause all of time all over the world. He probably only pauses time, or fast forward time, or rewinds time in one little given area. For instance, like a little area, and he can manipulate it with its time, because that's kind of what it implied when he paused his own move when he was coming at Teppei, because it would make sense, since he could pause Teppei, why wouldn't he just attack him while he's paused? It's because his abilities get frozen as well in that certain area. So that is a good case in point we need to actually also remember when it comes to those abilities. But getting into the main beef that we're all hyped up for is Midora. Midora is on the move, he is there, unexpectedly on the fucking move, like already, and it just, this arc is heating up into some crazy shit right now, because we already all know we are in the final stages of Toriko. We are. The end of the world is nigh. I mean, look at what's going on in these past 2 chapters. Like, you don't get a reveal of all the fucking 8 Beast Kings, and then what's going on with Midora, and then Joa, and then, you know, humans sacrificing themselves into some form of berserk-type altar bullshit. You don't get that type of shit at the beginning of a series. That's like in-game shit. So, of course, this is getting quite hype. And with the ending of Midora going in to fight, the question stands, will he fight Joa? Will he try to fight him? Major question, because Joa, we don't really know. We don't know if Midora is just there to give a message, or if he's there to fight Joa. One or the other, it's going to be intense, and I cannot wait for next week's chapter. Knowing our luck, most likely we're going to shift over to Area 6. We're probably going to shift over to their other continents, because for right now, this was just there for hype build-up and then moving over to other arcs. We'll see. So, tell me your thoughts and comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.